What's up, everybody? My name is Kells James. I'm one of the leaders of Harvest Worship Center, and we're still continuing with our 21-day Daniel fast. Now, the reason I'm doing this right now is because I put up a couple of videos and a lot of people seem really interested in the food. And since we're really trying to honor God with this 21-day Daniel fast, we're seeking God, loving God, trying to draw closer to Him. I want to give you some things that will actually be helpful. I don't want you to feel that through this Daniel fast that you can't eat anything. I find a lot of people are finding they don't know what to eat. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm going to eat potatoes every day for the next 3 weeks. There's so much more to food than that, so I'm gonna try and do my best to help you. I'm gonna kind of show you a couple of things, a couple of tricks, a couple of recipes, so to speak, simple things that you can do that will make it fun. Your food's still gonna be tasty, because serving God shouldn't be hard, and this is not gonna be as hard as you think. It will be a sacrifice, but there's enough provision in the food He's given us that we can do tons and tons of things with. And I'm a meat eater, so I love eating meat, so don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to the state when the time comes. But for now, let me help you, and I'll show you a couple of things. Okay, so what we're gonna do today is something that actually I used to eat at work. I found it in this little store, so it's called like a Swiss Rosti. So really what it is we're gonna shred up some potatoes, gonna add a little bit of onion and a little bit of spinach. I mean, that's really your choice. And then literally, truly, we're gonna just add we're gonna add olive oil this time. Now, normally I would add butter, but we're staying away from cream and milk and those things as well. So I'm avoiding the butter. I'm gonna use olive oil as a little bit of a substitute. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna shred it up, kind of make like a patty, fry it up, and serve it. It is that easy. It is simple, and then we can have that with a couple other things we'll just add to just to make like a simple breakfast or just a simple snack, okay? Last night what I did was I parboiled. Now what parboil meaning is I kind of cooked it a little bit. So I peeled my potatoes ready, and I semi-cooked them, right? So I just want to make the process a little bit easier. You could do it by just grating your potatoes, and you just have to be really careful when you're cooking. If you parboil it, it's just a little bit easier to cook once it gets on the actual frying pan. So basically what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shred it up. If you have one of these type of shredders, it's really good. It's gonna give us some long strips of potato. So it's gonna look kind of like mozzarella cheese when we're doing it. If you kind of see it, look at it, it's gonna become really shredded like that. And that's what we're looking for. We're really just trying to shred the potato. That's why I put it in the fridge, so it gives it a little bit of cold and kind of keeps it together, because you know potato will start to fall apart a little bit, right? So I'm gonna just really shred the potato. I'm gonna keep doing this till I get the whole thing completed. And once I have that completed, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a little bit of oil to it, a couple of tablespoons of oil, and then add the onion, which I'm gonna fry up with a little bit of with some spinach that I have in the refrigerator. I'll put that in a little bit of oil, we'll fry that up a little bit, boom, we'll throw that in, mix it together, and then make our patty, so to speak, with it, okay? So like I've said, I've just added my onions and the spinach with a little bit of olive oil. You really want to just cook it down a little bit just so the spinach gets wilty, so to speak, and the onions get somewhat cooked. You don't want to burn it or brown it, but you're really just trying to cook it, get it really savory, so you don't want your fire too high. But maybe a minute or two, probably 2 minutes, you're gonna have it on. I like to add always a little bit of salt and pepper to everything I'm doing. So I have a little bit of pepper, just sprinkle a little pepper on it. Always for taste. Make sure your fire's in a good place. Alright, and a pinch of salt, right? Just a little bit. Alright, so that's basically cooking there. Maybe give it one more minute. And I'm constantly stirring because I don't want it to stick, right? And I don't want it to burn, so you always got to make sure your fire is not too high. You can't just turn it on max and just start cooking. Take your time, you got to massage it, right? All right, so our next step. So what I just finished doing was frying up the spinach and the onions, add a little salt and pepper. What I did was I put it on the plate that you just saw, and I just chopped it up a bit. So I just sliced it up a little bit more than it already was in order that it would spread evenly throughout. I had a whole bunch of potatoes. I don't know how many I took at first. Maybe I took maybe about 9 or 8 or 9. Not large, but medium-sized potatoes, small to medium. And I sliced them up. I got a fair bit amount of the potato there. So let's say I used 3 to 4 potatoes, 4 medium potatoes, 3 to 4 medium potatoes in here. What I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna add some oil in here. Now usually for about this much, and it's usually a consistency thing, I'm gonna put 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil inside here. And I'm gonna mix the spinach and the onions along with it. So once I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna mix that up. So I'm using olive oil. I try and avoid the really cheap stuff if at all possible. I'm not saying spend $20 on a bottle, but the better oil you get, the more flavorful, the better it tastes with the food. I'm just putting, this is just 1 teaspoon I'm putting right now. I'll definitely put the second one. I'll see how it looks before I put in the third. I'm kind of old school. I don't always measure everything necessarily, especially when I'm used to cooking it, but I'm just kind of doing what's in right now. Now, just a small note, if you're baking, you need to be exact. You can't play when you're baking. You put too much of something, you'll mess up the whole deal, so you gotta be very careful until you really know the recipes you're making. But with this, I'm putting in the spinach and the onion. As you can see, it's in here. I'm just gonna mix it around in here first. And as I'm doing that, I can see, okay, it's not really sticky right, so I can definitely add a little bit of oil, have more potato than I thought in here. So I'm mixing it up because I want it to mix around. It's not gonna get in every piece, but it'll actually be a mix inside of it. Mixing that, stirring that up. And once you stir that up a little bit, mix your spinach around and your onion around so it's kind of evenly spread throughout the mix that you're making. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna put in a 1/3 teaspoon of oil for sure. And like I said, normally I would use butter, and butter, magnificent. I could probably use a vegan butter, but I really want to kind of keep it just in case, and just kind of do with what you have, because not everybody has vegan butter in their pantry, right? So I actually do have some because my wife is a vegan, so but I'm gonna use what I figure everybody else would find in their cupboard, and a little bit less expensive than sometimes a vegan butter can be. Okay, so it's mixed up already. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna put a little bit of oil in that pan, and then I'm gonna form like a patty, and then we're gonna make it cook. So we're gonna watch that in a minute. Alright, so this is gonna cook here for a little bit, so I can't give an exact time because you really have to go by feel. What I say is really what you're trying to do, you're trying to fry the bottom of it. It's like making eggs or making anything else. You want to cook one side, then you're gonna flip it over. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, I see the edges are starting to get brown. I'm hoping it's kind of cooked on one side. If not, I'll flip it back over. So what I'll take in a plate, I'm gonna literally place it on top of my pan and flip it over. As you can see, but I want to cook a little bit more on that side, but I'm still going to flip it over and let it sit here. Now, it's going to cook a little bit more. I'm going to leave it to do the same thing, to cook on both sides. If you were using butter, trust me, you get more brown on the outside because butter just does that. But for now, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to cook it on one side, and I'll flip it back over again to get a little bit more brown on this side, and then we'll serve that up. Now, while this is cooking, what I'm going to do for a little addition, I have some broccoli right here. So some broccoli crowns, I'm taking it. I'm really just cutting off the big, kind of bulky piece. And I'm gonna cut a little bit more off it here. As you can see, I'm making a mess. And I'm gonna use the heads of the broccoli. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop them up like they call them florets. So really splitting them in half and little slices if I need to be, right? And what I'm gonna do with these, simply put, I'm gonna take this, and this is one of my favorite things. I'm gonna sprinkle some sea salt on it with some olive oil, pepper, and a little bit of some chili flakes. That gives a little bit of zest, a little bit of spark. I'm gonna take that, throw that in the oven, 15 minutes max. and it will get crispy on the outside. Lovely, lovely taste. It doesn't need a lot, but it is, if you don't like broccoli and you always want to get broccoli in your diet, this is the way to do it. It tastes so good. Now the rosti is ready. I'm turning my fire off. As you can see what it looks like now. It's brown on the outside. I flipped it over. It's almost like a pancake. It'll literally just slide off the pan. Voila. I have it there, and what I'm going to do is I'll cut it up. And once the broccoli is ready, I'll make a plate, and I'll show you what your plate would look like and how you would serve it, right? So this would be for yourself. For me, it'll be for me and my boys. I'm just cutting, as you can see right there. It's crispy on this outside, tender on the inside. Almost like a, they already said, almost like a huge hash brown. And I'm gonna chop it in little sections. Everybody can have a piece. And this will be this could be your breakfast, it could be your dinner, it could be your snack, whatever you want it to be. But stuff in here so you can honor God in the midst of it and still do your day fast and still have something that's tasty and wonderful to eat. Trust me, lots you can do. Whatever you have in your kitchen, we can make something out of it. Doesn't matter what stage you're at, what's in your cupboard, we can figure out something that you can honor God, continue with your fast, seek God, and watch Him do wonderful things in your life. So this will conclude it. Like I said, you can have a couple of pieces of rosti. You have the broccoli that's baked with sea salt and pepper. You have, for me here, the pureed plum, because I said there is like something sweet. Ready to go as another day in your fast, something that will honor God. It will nourish your body, and we will find God and seek Him and find all the great things that He has for us. So this is Kells. I'm out. Needs a little bit of salt and pepper when I taste it. Put a little bit of salt. And I'm gonna eat that because it's good. Enjoy it. I am. Oh. Trust me.